generally, like, when I play bot lane, when I play support, I don't really, like, I view the scuttles as, like, a top priority, but I feel like you said 7 minutes, you're thinking about the buffs. I generally kind of turn my brain off, so I find that interesting that you're kind of structuring your gameplay around. And I guess if you're on blue side, it would be the opposit, right? You would be fighting for the... Yeah.
So the reason I have the thought about that is that I play a champion that basically is very forgiving if we do overcommit to something, since we can just pull away into the river and out from everything, basically. So the main objective is you help get the skull crab 3 minutes in. Then after that, you help the lanes. Around 5 to 6 minutes in, you make sure that both your mid lane and your bot lane is pushed fully in, so everyone can quickly get prior to help deny the enemy jungler's entrance into his own jungle, and that's why you just take his entire bot side. And then you have a jungle that is 2 levels ahead of enemy jungle.
And then so from there, it's just knock down towers, take drag, swap to top, I assume.
Yeah, exactly. Like after that, you take the dragon, then you move top lane with your jungle, get the herald, and with the herald, you push down the first turret, and that's why it just kind of all escalates.
So like right now, we were just talking offline about this, and I do want you to bring it back up again because it's an interesting conversation point. And we were talking about how you were like, I'm rank 1, but I think Bard is the big reason. You know, when I came into this conversation today, I didn't want to insult you and be like, oh, Bard's strong or any of that. I kind of wanted to just let that be from your perspective, because some people, you know, when someone gets to rank 1, there's 2 types of people that make like high elo or even rank 1, right? There's people like yourself that are sort of humble about it and are like, you know, it's my champion is strong. And then there's some people, I don't really need to say any names. There's some people that when they get there, you know, it's all them, right?
Yeah.
It's all me, dude. It's all me, baby.
It becomes that brand, basically, right?
Yes. So I wanted you to talk a bit more about that. So you feel like if Bard wasn't where he was, right? You feel like you wouldn't be ranked 1.
No, 100% not. So I think overall, getting ranked 1 is, of course, it's skill, it's dedication, but it's also about luck, about the meta, and the luck about the championship playing, basically. You need a bit of luck when you need to get up there. I think everyone that puts in a lot of time can get to top 10 if they're really good at the game, but the meta has to really revolve around how they play the game and how they play their champions to get to rank 1.
That makes sense.
That's just how I see it, at least. And Bard is just at a point where he's incredibly busted. And for some reason, Riot is refusing to nerf him.
What would you do? What would you do to make Bard more fair?
You need to remove, or at least nerf, the experience he gets from his passive. Because that's the thing, right? Bard can just roam, stay the same level as enemy support, even though they play on the bot lane. And you get an AD carry that is a couple of levels above their AD carry. So you never drop experience when you roam, because you get so much experience from your passive, combined with a lot of free damage as well.
How long have you been playing Challenger with Bard?
Since season 8. I started playing League of Legends in season 7, where I played jungle, picked up Bard in preseason to season 8, and then I hit Challenger.
You hit Challenger just right away with him?
Yeah, it took 3 months.
Were you Challenger ever before that?
No, as I said, I just started playing the game back in summer season 7. So I played jungle, hit plat, then preseason hit where I started trying different type of champions, then picked up bot, and then by March, I think it was around.
Dude, that's like the most ridiculous. I have never heard of that. That's the most ridiculous turn of rank that I think I've ever heard. Did anybody ever do that type of? Is that real? You said season 7?
Season 7 summer, yeah. But I did play on NA.
I think I might be. I shouldn't use this word, but I think I might be retarded.
What?
No, like I've been playing a lot longer than you, and it took me a lot longer to reach Challenger.
So a lot of people. I don't want you to feel bad at all.
That's insane. That's insane. So, did you play anything before? Did you play any MOBAs before RTS? Yeah.
No, yeah, RTS, yeah. I played a lot of Warcraft 3.
Ah, okay. So that yeah, that's a natural, okay.
A lot of skill transfer, right?
Yeah, I played a lot of RTS too, and I still never got that high up the rank right away. That's impressive. That's impressive. And you just, because I played It's like I said, I did a bunch of 100 games to diamond stuff just to make content back in the day, and Bard was one of those picks. But dude, I don't think I just find that so insane that you were able to turn that corner so fast. Like, how many games did you think it took you when you were like playing season 8?
Not that many. I was working full time while educating myself, so I basically only played around.
This fucking guy.
I'm so sorry. So I only played 2 to 3 games a day. But what I did was I was very dedicated at getting better because I hate not being good at the game. Basically, since when I like a game, I put my time into it. So I watched every single game I played as a VOD after it, and just wrote down so many pages of notes of what everything good, everything bad, everything missed opportunity, everything I basically could have done to turn the game into a more favorable. And just
wait. This is where you're sounding a lot like Wrist. The other day I had Wrist on here, right? And I started having him talk. Now I showed you the app before we went live, but I hadn't showed Wrist the app. And he started talking. You're sounding like a nice little promotion for my app right now. Because you're like, yeah, I played and then I went back over the game and then I wrote stuff down, which is basically a lot of what we're trying to get people to do, right? Is we're trying to get people to stop autopiloting and then go back through and like assess what they're thinking about.
Why I was like, that's why I thought it was so cool. Because I could see, I can really see the potential in that stuff.
Yeah, I've got so many layers of that where I want to take it, but that's so cool that that's how you actually did that. Like, guys, we didn't prep this conversation. Like, I didn't tell him to like say any of this. Like, this is literally his opinion. So you're saying that after the game, you would just go in and you would just VOD review the shit out of it. And then you would write down a bunch of errors. Like, you would write them down?
Yeah, I would write them down on fucking, like, not even on the PC, on, like, I learned by writing stuff, basically. If I just, like, think about it, then it's, like, it's gone from my head in, like, 10 minutes. But if I write it down and think about it, then it just sticks there. So I had, like, I would say, like, 10 full notepads at one point, filled with, like, each game.
Do you still have that?
Not anymore, no. Sadly not.
Dude, that is, like, do you realize that's, like, some museum shit? Like, we could like stick that, we could like stick that somewhere and like put a little case around it, you know? That's like, that's some marketable stuff, man. I can't believe you threw that away. You could have like, do you know what? You missed a business opportunity, dude. You need me around because you could have sold pages of the Lathyrus fucking Challenger notepad where you had like, you could sell the pages as like, you know how people have like baseball cards? Like, you could have sold it. But, dude,
I missed out, dude.
Dude, this is like GameStop when people didn't buy the stocks.
True.
You know, it's the same thing. No, this is cool. So, all right, so we talk about Bard. Let's do a fun little mini game here. Let's imagine that you wake up and Mark Yetter goes on Twitter and says, you know what? We're nerfing the shit out of Bard. Like, we're just nerfing the shit out of him. And they nerf him so much that you struggle to maintain Challenger, okay? I don't know what that threshold is, by the way. That's why I said it's a bit of a mini game.
Yeah.
What champion would you play, or would you think, like, in your brain, like, you have a lot of experience, you have a wealth of knowledge on the role, and you're very humble about it. You're like, I'm a one-trick pony, whatever. But you've played every matchup, and you sound like a guy that's actually went through and studied these matchups and really has a pretty good understanding of those. What champion would you think would replace Bard for you? What would be the most likely champion that you would start playing?
And I'm not allowed to play Bard anymore.
For the purposes of discussion, yes, you are not allowed to play Bard. We'll just say that he got nerfed to shit, and you know, whatever, and he's not worth playing. Let's put it that way. He's not worth playing. You hate the nerf so bad. I'm saying years down the line, right?
Yeah. So the champion that's going to replace Bard in that situation that can do basically the same as Alistar with Hex Flash.
Do you think Alistar?
Alistar with Hex Flash, or it could even be a champion like Zac support.
Did you say Zac or Set?
Yeah, Zac support.
Literally Zac support. Now that's an interesting one.
It's really, really slept on. It was up and running for a short time during season 10, and then people just dropped it again. he straight up counters most engage supports, which are super strong in the game, and he outscales nearly every support champion in the game when it comes mid game for every type of engage.
Are you seeing that? Is that active now? Does that show up sometimes now?
No, not at all anymore.
Oh, okay.
I don't think Zac is fun enough for people to play. It's kind of like Cillian, right? Cillian is in an incredible good stuff place right now. One of the best champions in the game, but no one plays him because he's a bit boring.
I see.
So that's the same thing with Zac. But if a champion had to replace Bart with how Bart plays the game and how Bart would play the map, that would be Zac, and that is 100%.
What do you think about? Now, I'm just piggybacking off what you're talking about in terms of support options, and it is funny that you opened this conversation just talking about how bad you think enchanters are.
Yeah.
Because a lot of my clients, when I get support coaching clients, the one thing they want to play in front of me all the time is fucking enchanters.
Oh, no.
And I think it's a combination of, you know, they get into the game with their friend and they feel like they're helpful. You know, they provide something for their teammates. And I feel like they try to cut the corner of the mechanics of the game. Do you understand? I'm sure you understand where I'm going with this. Yeah, it's like they try to cheat. It's like they try to get into the game and be a part of the game without putting in the work. So it feels like it's a natural thing for them to be like, I pick Sona and I float around.
So the main reason Enchanters are actually in such a bad spot right now, and even for a lot of the people that you end up coaching and stuff like that, is that they fall under the category of being reactive gameplay instead of being proactive gameplay.
Okay.
And we are in a proactive meta right now, so they will always be like basically one step behind. So that's the issue, right? They rely too heavily on their teammates, and they just try to keep them alive from all the CC that will come their way. And they just can't handle it with the items that are in the game right now, with like the shield cutting items and the great healing reduction items. We have one enchanter in the game that is kind of okay, and that's Seraphine, because her ult and her W is so insanely big. But that's pretty much it. And they already nerfed her to the point where she's only kind of okay.
Yeah, she's certainly not where she was.
Sadly not,
like,
no.
Yeah. So, yeah, basically, well, let's segue that. So, you're saying that you don't like enchanters so much. So let's back it up even further. All right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have you boost me, not literally, but I'm gonna have you boost me in this next little mini game. All right. You're gonna boost NEACE because NEACE fake high elo player, very bad, very noob, right? So I call you up and I'm like, yo, boost me, but boost me from support. Okay.
So I have to boost you from support.
You boost me from support, but again, you can't play Bard.
All right.
What champions would you be telling? So, like, for my guys, I'll tell you what I tell them to do, and you could tell me if you think I'm crazy here. So, generally, what I told people was that they need to take at least a champion that has a good level 2 all-in, is what I've been telling them.
100%.
They need to have a good level 2 all-in, and if they don't have that, they need to have some sort of champion that scales really, really well. I recommended Swain a lot as like the, 1v9 support.
I see. What do you know what we're talking about here in this game?
Yeah.
No. What rank are we talking
rank?
about? Yeah.
I'm saying like the average coaching client is probably somewhere like unranked, like they don't have a lot of volume in. So like maybe they're iron bronze or just silver or low gold stuck.
All right. So Swing is definitely very good, but doesn't 100% fulfill the all-in potential you were talking about, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Since Swing is really good at poking down slowly, but he won't be able to 100 to 0.
Okay.
You need a champion that will be able to do damage while also CC locking. If you want a full-on level 2 champion that can carry in a game like Silver Bronze, it would be Leona.
So you think you would actually play Leona with like, I assume like an Ignite?
Yeah, 100%. Leona will do more damage than Swain will level 2, and you would be able to snowball it way more.
So I give you the NEACE account to boost me with support. You're probably locking Leona. Is that true?
Yeah.
Or no? Or would it be different for you? like specifically as a player?
So the only thing I have a problem with Leona is that I don't think she fulfills my type of like roaming. You would be able to. Leona is the champion that would be able to win bot lane the hardest, but winning bot lane doesn't mean that you will win the game. And in a lot of situations, you need at least your jungle or your mid or your top, one of them, to also get a lead to win the game. I think Alistar would be better for that than Leona would.
So you like Alistar's. So I'm not sure if you know Helicopter at all. You've seen him?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So he's somebody. I'll probably get him in a guest speaker slot sometime, like in a week or so. He said he'd be down to do it.
Nice.
He plays a lot of Alistar, and he just roams
a lot.
I mean, it's like that guy that plays baseball that always bunts. It's like, you know, he's gonna do it, and then he does it anyways, and you're just like, I mean, can we really stop it?
That's the thing.
Yeah,
he's really smart about it, how he does it.
Yeah, it's very creative, right? Like it's very flowy. I would say that I find that most of the people that I coach on support is they do the enchanter thing, and then I put them on something like you're describing, some sort of champion that does an all-in. I normally recommend like a Nautilus. I don't know if you'd agree with the Nautilus, but like a Leona's fine too, a Thresh is fine too.
100%.
And I just have them try to get used to getting that momentum off of like a level 2 all in. Like that's where that's the baby steps that I put them on.
Makes sense. Yeah.
But then it almost feels like they kind of get lost, right? Like after they win a lane or they're ahead, they kind of get lost. Now, what would you say, as someone who's been playing support for years and years and years, what would you say would be what's your game plan? Like for these players.
Yeah. So what often happens in low elo when they get a lead, like I've seen it so often, even if they get like 5,000 or 10,000 gold lead, they will not be able to close down the game because they don't know what to basically do after laning phase, right? An issue I often see is that they tend to just group up and just run around the map basically and not taking advantage of the kills they get, right?
Yeah.
They need to kind of just go with the flow, right? I don't see a problem with the silver players grouping up and just doing the classic ARM mid lane. The problem is when they start like chasing random kills in the jungle that doesn't lead into anything. So they just need to stick to a plan, even if the plan kind of seems silly, right?
Yeah.
Just stick to a plan and follow through with it, kind of no matter what. Because often what we see is that they never have a plan. They just see a champion, they kill the champion, and then they go back to killing monsters in the jungle that doesn't grant them anything.
And when you're talking about plans, I want to piggyback off that. So generally what I have them do is, I have them play to take tower. I tell them, if you've gotten dragon, leave bottom, probably for the rest of the game.
Yeah,
Would you
100%.
agree with that? Would you agree with that?
100%. If the tower's gone and they have the dragon, then time to move the lead to a top lane, I would say.
Yeah.
Get top lane first and then go mid lane.
Yeah, because generally it's like I always talk about it. I tell them to ping pong between the objectives. So like we'll take tower, we'll take drag, we'll reset, we'll go to top. We'll take, like you said, we'll take Rift. We'll try to take mid. Oh, dragon spawning. And then in between that, obviously warding. So for each objective you take, right, you're expecting them. We gotta like deep ward, right? We gotta put some sort of vision down and try to set something up.
Definitely.
Cool. So you're boosting NEACE. You've got your Alistar, you've got your what did you say the other one was? You got your Leonas. What do you think it's gonna take to get these like enchanters back into the game in some sort of tangible way?
See, that's the thing, right? Enchanters has always been super tricky to actually balance for, right? I think because they will always be either super good or kind of bad. It's super hard to put them in the middle. The best thing they can probably do is that they need to open up for more options for the enchanters to build. Right now, they can only build Moonstone, and that's why they just get stuck, right? Then they get the Moonstone, and someone on enemy team gets a healing reduction item, and then the Moonstone is kind of useless, right?
Yeah.
Enchanters need an option to be able to survive a full-on engage. What Riot was trying to do was that they wanted to give Enchanters longer ward range on the spell thieves, so they wouldn't get punished as hard when they were warding, right? The issue is here that every type of engage champion or roaming champion would just piggyback on that and make sure they also get longer ward range, and then it's going to be abused, and then we're back to square one. So we need Enchanters to basically get a bit more movement speed to be able to survive.
That's what you think. That's what you think it comes down to. You think it comes down to just movement speed in general?
Yep. I think if you just buff their base movement speed by 5 to 10, their win rate would actually go up to 1 to 2% per average enchanter support.
Let's see. How can I carry out solo queue of silver and gold with Leona?
Roam.
I would say that in most of the teachings, like most of the coachings that I've had, most of the students that I coach do not roam like at all.
Yeah, and that's why they think support is a really bad role. A lot of people think support is super, super bad because they see support as the AD carry support and not as the team support. They have to remember they are not the AD carry spitch, they are the team spitch. They need to move around and actually gather resources wherever they can.
That's some pretty good advice, and probably good enough advice to end on, guys. I've kept him here for over an hour. I think I should give the man a break.
Sounds great.
No, man, thank you so much. You know, you didn't have to do this, and you did anyways. And
I had fun. I'm glad you reached out. It was perfect.
Yeah, thank you. Seriously, guys, you can check him out on Twitch. It's just Lathyrus on Twitch, right? There's no...
Yeah, TV. Lathyrus TV.
Oh, my bad. Hold on a second.
Yeah.
I got you. Cool. I'll make sure that my editor gets that too. He clips this talk. So yeah, check him out. Lathyrus TV on Twitch. You're one of those guys. I am Twitch TV.
No, Lathyrus was taken.
I was just giving you a hard time. I am Lathyrus TV. Thank you. Come to my stream and check me out. No, thank you so much for being here. Your insight is like, I mean, it's literally unmatched right now. So thank you so much with everything. And yeah, guys, make sure to say thanks. And we'll talk more offline. Thanks again.
Yeah, no worries, mate. You can always hit me up. Have fun, everyone.
Yeah, have a good one.